What's up, you guys? Matt Jablonski here with The Point of Change. Tonight, we have an amazing story of addiction and recovery for you. Every Sunday night on The Point of Change, I'm bringing a different guest on, somebody from the recovery world, sometimes an advocate, sometimes just another recovering addict with an amazing story. And tonight is no different. Tonight from California, we have Katherine Lance joining us. I'm excited for this interview. Katherine's been a follower of mine for a long time. So guys, give me some likes, give me some loves. Give me a share out, if you would, into any addiction groups you may be a part of, and get ready. Let's get this show on the road. What's up, you guys? Thank you guys all for joining me. Welcome, everybody. Give me some likes and give me some loves. Build up a good priority here on Facebook. Tonight's guest is Katherine Lance. It's going to be a great time. Before we get started, got a couple of announcements. My first announcement is a personal announcement, and an awesome one, and a big one. As of today, I am a spoken for man. I am in a relationship with Caitlin Tanner. Ha! That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm all walking on cloud nine up here. Also, next week, on Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central, we will have The Point of Change meets Ryan Hampton. Ryan Hampton is from the Voices Project. I met Ryan when I spoke on the steps of the state capitol last year here in Madison, Wisconsin. Great guy, awesome story of addiction and recovery, and some amazing advocacy work that he's doing these days. So I can't wait to meet that guy and get that going. Let me say some good evenings here. I'm not used to these evening live broadcasts. Catherine Gavin, how are you? Stephanie Wagner, good to see you. Katherine Lance is in the comments. Look at that. Hi, Catherine. Stephanie, hey. Allison Holden, good to see you. Amy Baldwin, thank you for being here. Crystal Price, hello. Stephanie Irene, Angie, good to see you. Pam, how are you, dear? Elaine Weaver's here. Woohoo! Thank you guys for all the congratulations on my relationship. I'm sure you've seen the post. I'm super happy. I'm walking on cloud nine over here. And then my life is just filled with beautiful women. I have this new beautiful girlfriend. I have my beautiful mama. And then tonight I get joined by the beautiful and wonderful Katherine Lance. Tonight is going to be great. So I will spare no more or waste no more time and get my guest here. Ladies and gentlemen, throw up all of the hearts you can for my guest tonight, Katherine Lance. Hi, Katherine. How are you?
I'm good. I just all of a sudden got extremely nervous.
Did ya? Oh, good. I'm glad you're
every
nervous.
time.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Good. Hey, this stuff gets under my skin sometimes too. You're not alone.
I was like perfectly fine sitting there. Then all of a sudden it was just all, whoa, now I'm nervous.
Oh, wait, is that the introduction for me? Katherine, you're an awesome advocate for online recovery. You really are. Like I was telling you before we started, every time I'm in a live video watching not only myself and Drew, I'm always seeing your name come up in the comments, welcoming people, making sure everybody knows they're loved. You were just telling me that's kind of your standpoint. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about yourself?
Well, like you said, I'm Katherine Lance. And like when it comes to, trying to be in recovery, like anything online recovery is like, I want everyone to know they're supported, they're loved. I want to encourage them and let them know that, they can continue on no matter what. There's no reason to just give up, and if I can be that light and I can give them that little bit of a push, I want to be there and I want to do it. And so that's why I'm so active in trying to be online with everyone's lives and so on and so forth. It's like we were saying before, we never thought people would accept us and love us for who we are. And now, I want to be that person to show you are.
Yeah, and you do a good job of it. You keep, I've always felt like just a warm energy from you when you're in my comments, and you're always welcoming people to my feeds and other people's feeds. And I love having you as a part of the Point of Change. And you've been here following me for almost since the beginning, like since the garage days.
Yeah, I remember the garage days. Yeah,
So
I do. And how much you progressed. It's amazing watching someone just, continue to go forward in life and continue to succeed. And, that's a blessing to watch in itself.
it definitely is. And that's something I've loved about my recovery is seeing everybody around me do better and better and better. So, Katherine, take us on a little trip back in time. When did your addiction begin for you?
So, my addiction started at a very young age. I was born in a family of addiction. My mother is an addict. My father is an addict. My grandmother, she drank. Addiction's been a part of my life from the beginning. I First time I ever smoked weed was when I was 8 years old. It wasn't like an everyday thing, but it generally progressed. And then I got introduced to meth, and I wasn't introduced to it like, oh, here's a pipe or here's a line. It was, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it the way that I do it, and it was by my father. And I started shooting dope at a very young age, and I was just off and running. And that's what happens when you're born into a family of people that all they know is destruction. They're going to just teach destruction, and it wasn't that's what they wanted to teach. That's what I just learned. And I grabbed hold on to getting high, and I loved it, and it was just my escape, and I allowed it to keep me trapped and stuck for many years. I It took me into extremely dark places. I've been raped. I was molested at a very young age. I put myself in situations that I never should have been in, allowed men to manipulate me, use me, and it was just all in the grips of this disease, and I didn't know any better. I've done 3 prison terms and several violations. My life was just straight chaos. I didn't know any other way to go but right back out to drugs, and like we were talking about before, staying stuck and just talking about my addiction isn't like my favorite thing to do. I like to
Mm-hmm.
talk about, yeah, I was sick, I was stuck, I was suffering, I caused pain, I caused, destruction, I allowed people to cause me pain, but I learned, it was able, me getting clean, I was able to take all that negative and turn it into a growth per se, or just to make me into a stronger person, to where, that's why I am so loving, because I didn't know what love was. That's why I'm so trying to be supportive, because I didn't know how to get support, and I don't even know what to say. Like, I just get, I just get
No,
so,
I
I'm nervous. I'm
understand.
sorry.
No, don't be nervous. You're doing great. You're doing great. And I understand completely where you're coming from. A lot of times that's hard to talk about. You are a different person this day and age, and you've come a long ways from where you were. That's for sure. And, thank God we don't have to see the person you used to be. We get to see the person that you are today. And
Right.
we can thank God for that. And, coming from a background like that, it's almost inevitable for a person to fall into the situation you fell into, so, and it's, nothing to fault on your own. That's how we deal with things. We're just humans. You found the best way to cope with it you could, but I'm happy that you found recovery and that you found a better way to deal with your pain, and that you don't let that pain, ruin your trust towards humanity or ruin your love towards humanity. You've let it grow more into love for other people, and that's just a beautiful thing right there. So what's your recovery date on to happier subjects?
2/8/16. So
Two.
I just celebrated my 4 years.
That's awesome. Congratulations on 4 years.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, you guys got to throw up some hearts for Katherine on 4 years. That's awesome. Well,
Who
some
would have
people,
thought?
right? Some people don't know what it's like to have 4 minutes. That's what a beautiful blessing. What type of recovery are you in?
I work in Narcotics Anonymous program. And I do a lot of the online support or whatever, but I am a 12-stepper.
That's awesome, though.
Most
That's awesome.
definitely a Narcotics Anonymous girl.
That's awesome. That is definitely cool. So before COVID, let's take it back to your usual recovery routine. What was your recovery looking like? Are you once a week kind of meeting or more than that?
I did 3 meetings a week. Sometimes it was two, but I was a pretty regular meeting goer.
Right on.
Did other type of meetings, I consider the online stuff meetings too in itself, because it's still part of fellowship, it's still part of engaging with other addicts, it's still a part of being something, and so I also am a sponsor, I have sponsees, you know, but yeah, I was pretty regular in meetings before COVID.
Yeah, that's unfortunately through this COVID-19, a lot of us have lost that part of our support system. But so how have you, through the virus, how have you stayed in contact?
We have my actual local area. They created a business page per se. It's an NA page. We live in a tri-area of 3 counties that we're pretty looped together. And so it's all 3 areas, and they have Zoom meetings that are regular. They have different times throughout the day. And so I engage in those. And then I have my home group. We have a regular once a week Zoom meeting. So
Oh, right on. Well, you definitely have had a mainstay in the online recovery area, which through the COVID-19, that's one beautiful thing about COVID-19 is that this online recovery stuff has become a lot more widely accepted real quick.
right. Absolutely. And it's gotten bigger. Like it's amazing to watch too. Like you go into these live videos where, it was a very small group of people, and now it's just there's so many people, and there's so many people engaging, and there's so many people encouraging and supporting and uplifting each other. It's amazing to watch, and it's just and it's what's so more amazing about it is at a touch of a button. 90% of the time it's a swipe of a phone, and then bam, you're there, and you will be the supporter or the one getting supported, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Speaking of online recovery support, Drew Hicks is in the house. Says couldn't have been given the best Facebook manager in the business. Right on. You do a
Thanks,
lot of
Drew.
work there with Drew Hicks on his dream team and the Drew crew over there. That's awesome. I love seeing you on working with him, in the comments. So what's it like working with Drew Hicks more openly and closely, I should say?
um it's great. I mean, we're a very close-knit team. Like we're very intimate with each other together all the time. Like we're constantly we engage with each other. We have a group chat, and we're always in there. We just actually had a phone call not long before I did this live. They were all encouraging me and supporting me because, like I said, I get nervous. It doesn't matter, if it's 5 people or 100 people, I'm going to get nervous. That's just my personality, and so they just all wanted to make sure that they knew, or that I knew, that they loved me and they supported me. And Drew's just a normal guy. People are like, I mean, he's always just been a normal guy to me. So I don't know. Sorry, Drew. I mean, I'm just saying you're just a normal
Sorry,
guy.
Drew. You're normal. Sorry, bro. You've been
You're
demoted. You've been demoted to normal guy.
not, I mean, you're just,
I think he appreciates that though. I've been talking with Drew, like me and Drew talk on a regular basis too, and he's so down to earth and so cool, and I like him a lot. So
yeah.
but I know what you mean. Like,
I
sorry,
mean,
Drew. He's just a guy.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
we're all
so
pretty close, so it's just like, I don't know. I've been friends with Drew for almost a year and a half now. So, and I've been an admin in his group for over a year, and I've been managing his pages for like over a year now too. So, you know,
yeah, that's got to be. Is that a challenge in itself to manage Drew's pages and respond to messages and things, or what? How exactly are your responsibilities there?
I'm mostly there in like the lives, man, making sure that everyone's supporting. There's not going to be, we don't want anybody in there. Drew's main focus is love and encouragement and uplifting people, right? So anybody that's negative, I try to just monitor comments and make sure things are running smoothly, pinning stuff and doing things like that. it's sometimes it can get chaotic, sometimes there's a lot going on, but we work together as a team. So if I don't get it, if I can't pick up it, he's going to get it, and he knows either way, it's going to be the same for me.
Yeah. Recovering addicts generally in the live feeds, I've noticed most of the time we got a pretty good crew here in the comments, and on my page, on Carl Fry's page, Drew's page, Richie's page. Recovering addicts are amazingly supportive people. So it's pretty easy to tolerate the comments until we get shared out into the wrong group.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and then you get, the loose hairs that jump in there and they just say whatever, and 90% of the time they're just someone hurting too, and they're just seeking something, and so
they might come to try and shoot you off topic by asking about a couch, but they end up getting a message of inspiration out of it,
Right, exactly. And sometimes they come in there and they're all angry and doing whatever, and then all of a sudden you just turn their whole perception around, and all of a sudden now they're there and they're loving and supporting you. So it's like, hey, you could win either way,
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. And I've had times where I've had trolls on my page that actually I was able to take a little lesson away from dealing with that person and the way their perspective is and the way they've seen things. Sometimes people just get up their own butt about things. But at least it's you can take something away from it. So you being a single mother of 3 in recovery, what's that like? How is it handling 3 boys and a recovery? Or 3 children?
My two older daughters, I have an adult daughter. She's married and she's in the Air Force in Japan, so she's not in my direct life. And they both were adopted through my addiction. And so my 16-year-old, she lives in Alturas and she's with her adopted family, and I still don't really have contact with her. But my 13-year-old, like, he just left today, and so it's a back and forth thing. Me and his dad are trying our best to do the co-parenting type of thing. Of course, we don't always see eye to eye, but it's something you have to work through and learn. It's a learning process. My 13-year-old's going through puberty, and he's at that age where he thinks he knows everything and he can rebel and do whatever. But if he's rebelling the way he's rebelling and that's all I have to deal with, consider me blessed. I promise you, a little attitude here and there, I will deal with it. But so my recovery, and he knows about recovery, and his both me and his dad are in recovery. So he sees it on both sides, and his stepmother, she's in recovery too. So he's, and it's his whole family. Gosh, I just thought about it. I'm like, we're all in recovery. Every one of us, it seems like. So
that is really awesome, honestly. That's great. I mean, addiction's the family disease and recovery is the family cure. So
absolutely.
Even one person being in recovery, the whole family kind of enters recovery, but to have all of you directly in recovery is a beautiful thing, and I wish more families had that.
Right.
So what would you say, is there any specific struggles or anything to being a parent, being a recovering addict and being a parent of children? What's something specific that you think you dealt with that you could give a heads up on?
I think a lot of the guilt and shame when it comes to being a parent, and is that what you mean for like what I had to work through?
Yeah.
So mine, a lot of the stuff is parenting out of guilt, right? Allowing my son to use things that I've done in the past against me, and I respond because I'm guilty or I feel bad. It took me just basically telling him, look, I did this, I did that, and I did this, and I'm doing this, this, and this as you're watching me grow through your life. And that's all I can do. I can't change the past. I just have to continue to show him through my actions that I'm going to be better. I'm not going to be that same person. And so I think a lot of the guilt and shame, it kept me stuck for a long time, just like in my addiction. My guilt and shame when it came to my parenting, my children being, my 2 oldest daughters being adopted, that's a lot on a person, holding on to it and not being able to work through it and work past it. It'll keep you stuck. And so my main thing I say is to work on is not parenting out of guilt, or not allowing your children to use your past against you to hold you stuck or to hold you out there or to even take you back out there. Because I know sometimes my kids, even my oldest, she said things and I'm just like, ouch, that really, really hurt. But it's the truth. I did that and I have to own it. And I have to, show through my actions that that's not the person I am anymore.
That's the best way, and show it through the example too, because words at some point don't mean a lot anymore, especially if they had seen you struggling before. So, but that's, one day at a time. We'll prove what we're up
Right.
to,
And that's what my oldest daughter told me. She told me, she goes, I want you to show me action. You can tell me, when she came back in my life, I was still sitting in prison. And she was telling me, like, you can tell me till you're blue in the face, this is what you're going to do. And this is what's going to happen. And this is what it's going to look like. But I'm not going to believe it until I see it, and I've shown her through my actions, since I've been out. I've only been out of prison since November of 2018. And I've shown her through those since I've been out that I'm not going back out there and I'm not going back to do that same thing, and that's all I can do.
That's all you can do is just make sure today you're not doing that. Right now you're not doing that. Right now you're participating in more online recovery. You can you can always get a little more of that, right, Catherine?
Right.
Yeah.
Very active in that.
Yeah. I love that about you. I love seeing, and it's funny to me sometimes I leave one live and I go to a different one and there you are in that one. I'm like, what's going on here?
Some people say that, they're like, John Beckwith, he'll say that to me too. He'll be like, are you following me? And I'm like, I think you're following me because we'll just jump, just to show them, especially if people go live back to back, normally it'll be like Drew and then it'll be Carl and then it'll be you, or you and Carl will be at the same time. And it was just like a domino effect, like here, this one.
And we all have something good to say. So you get a little bit of everything,
Absolutely.
Let's see. So with the online recovery advocacy, is there any other pages that you're involved with, or is it just Drew?
I am admin on both. Well, I'm admin in both Drew's pages. I'm also an admin in his group. I'm also a moderator in like an NAAA speaker meeting, and that's mostly where I just share, a lot of the lives too, because especially right now with this COVID thing, people they don't have that access to Zoom codes and so on and so forth. They can just get a little bit of something. But yeah, it's mostly Drew's page and his group right now.
Right on. And I imagine has that definitely been an asset to your life? I was going to say, I imagine that's been an asset, but has that been an asset to your recovery in your life?
Oh yeah, of course. Like being able to go into a live and then have somebody struggling and being able to help them, of course that's going to be an asset. That's going to show me that, I sometimes struggle with like lack of confidence in myself, or, not so much self-worth, but it could also be kind of looking at self-worth, but opinion really isn't that important, or what I have to say, or I don't put things out there properly or right, or they're making sense or whatever. And that's just, my insecurities. But then going in and being able to get that message later back from that person, and they're like, man, I was really going through this and this was really happening, and you like were able to help me and I didn't choose to pick up. Or, I've gotten those ones where the people are just on the edge and they're about ready to just want to end their life. And, I was able to talk them off that ledge. That of course, that's an asset, because it's like, wow, I was able to actually help somebody, and it's a blessing in itself. It really is.
Definitely. We got to give it away to keep it. So you doing as much work as you do definitely means you're going to keep it. That's for sure. I like what you got going on. I definitely support you. I support you as much as you support me. Everything you're going to do, you got a friend here at the Point of Change and with me. What else was I going to ask you? I just had a question. Oh boy, I'm so good at crashing trains of thought. You know that?
It's okay. It happens. Me too. I'm all nervous. I'm like, ooh, what's happening? And then I'm kind of all over the place. I don't know.
No, that's all right. That's recovery right there. Just a little bit of little bit of this, a little bit of that. What has been one area where you've really focused in your recovery? Has it been like, has there been one specific thing you're working on?
Um, like I was saying earlier, it's like one area I really have to work on is my self-worth, right? Me feeling like I'm important to be in someone's life or to be a part of something. That's like been a big thing for me. I like I always second guess, like, well, why would that person really want me to be there? Or why would that person really, just like when you ask me, I'm like, why,
That's
like,
what I
wait,
was just thinking. I was like, oh, really? Really? Does that happen?
like me, like, why do you want me? Why would you want, just like when I remember when Drew asked me to be a moderator in this group, I'm like, why would you want me? But it was because I was that person in those comments in, the group,
Hmm.
uplifting and supporting people and with no ulterior motives, and I was that, that's why. And that's been a big thing for me, is me feeling that I'm worth actually what people say I'm worth. Do you get what does that make sense?
Definitely. Definitely it does. And that's, I'm glad that you're realizing it though. I mean, you might still be struggling with it, but I mean, the fact that you're up here right now, definitely working on it, stepping out of your comfort zone. That's what we need, just to be working and trying. And the work you do, in Drew's groups and on his lives, I mean, you can't discredit that. That's huge. You're awesome. I mean, I'm looking over here at the comments and just seeing a flow of love over here for you
I
and
don't
your
even
helping
have the comments on,
everywhere.
and I have my phone down, and I keep seeing them on my laptop in the corner, and I'm like,
Well, just try not to focus on that right now, huh?
I've always been like that. Like, I remember the first time we did a Q&A, and I was just like, wait, you want me to look at the comments and answer questions?
Well, they're very supportive, just so you know. I won't put you
Thanks,
on the
guys.
spot
I
and
love you guys.
put all that love up there for you. But yeah, they're very supportive. And that's what we were saying before. The recovery community is amazing. And I mean, you coming on here is just another example of that. I was lined up to have Drew on here tonight, and then he took a hiatus and he's doing some healing and stuff. And so I was kind of in a spot. I wasn't sure what the heck I was going to do here tonight, but I wanted somebody, and you were the first one to come to my mind when I was like, well, who can I throw up here? And I thought, well, Katherine kind of works with Drew, so you'd be a great spot for this, and for you to, initially you were nervous, and I think you're still nervous, but you're up here,
And I don't
you
even know
appreciate.
why. Like, I've done them. I mean, I've done several lives. It happens every time. I just
Yeah.
get like, maybe it's because I've never done a live with you before, so it's like,
Maybe
you know,
it's definitely been nice seeing your face and putting a face to the name and hearing your story. I mean, like I said a million times, everybody in recovery has an amazing story. A lot of times we don't even notice how amazing our own story is, because to us, we just lived it. It's just, yeah, it's just how it went, bro. Oh yeah, I went to prison a whole bunch of times, and I went to rehab, and I went to this, and I did that, and overcame the things were holding me back. But to us, it's just another day. So
right.
I think it's awesome that you came on here. I love having advocates, Drew Hicks and Richie and all these big guys come on here, but just to have Katherine Lance, wonderful, smiling, beautiful young woman come on here and share her
Yeah.
story. That's wonderful.
I mean, it's amazing. Like, sometimes we don't realize what our words can do for somebody else, and that's why it's just so important, this online stuff, and that's why the encouragement and loving each other is important, because you never know what your words can do to somebody. You can totally destroy someone's life with a word, and you can solely save someone's life with a word. And so
Hmm.
that's why I like to say, like, choose your words wisely. Like, what you're gonna say, you never know, what it could be damaging or it could be life-saving.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a huge reason why I started the Point of Change, was I realized that I can talk to people. This is the thing I can do. So using your story, turning your mess into your message, whatever you want to call it, it's a wonderful thing and helps a lot more. And it helps me to share, and it helps other people when they hear it. So it's just, if you hold it in, it only just destroys yourself. If you let it out, it helps you and everyone around you. So it's a no-brainer, you know, let it out, tell people.
Right.
Allison Holden says recovering addicts rock. Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you guys all for being here and showing so much support here tonight. This has been awesome. If any of you guys have a question for Katherine you'd like to throw up there, you can at any time, and I will throw it at her while she's here in the hot seat. Let's see. Tabby says, love you both. Even though my life has been busy with work and family, I still enjoy you guys when I can. Awesome, Tabby. Awesome.
Tabby's amazing.
Yeah, she's another name that I see all over the place.
Yeah, amazing.
Rich Walters is here. How you doing, Rich? Says, awesome stuff, guys. Good to see you, man. Carlina says, I can relate. I struggle with that too. I'm unfortunately, I don't remember which part she was struggling with too, but
a lot of commonalities when it comes to the life of addiction, right? Like, that's why that's so important when they say men reach out to men, women reach out to women, is because you can relate. Like, I can have a man reach out to me about something and I'm just totally blown away. Like, I have no idea how to answer their question, but I'm sure if they would have went and reached out to a man about that situation, that man is gonna be able to just talk their ear off, and or they're gonna say it in 10 words and it's fixed, right? It's the same thing with women, you know, like if I reached out to you about something that's actually an actual just woman type of situation, you're just gonna be like, wait, what? I don't even know. You're gonna probably refer them off to somebody else, and so that's why it's so important to just be like, reach out to a woman, because you're gonna be able to relate, you're gonna be able to understand, and you're gonna be able to come to a common understanding of whatever it is.
Definitely. And there are aspects, like you're saying, that I wouldn't understand of a woman's recovery. I have had a woman one time, the example I can think of is she was asking me about meetings and places she could go. And I told her to look up local meetings in her area. And my thoughts on why you wouldn't want to go to a meeting in your area is, you know, maybe because people talk crap in your area about you, stuff like that, you know, but her concern was that the last time she had gone to the meeting in her town, that the older guys in the meeting were all flirting with her. And to me, I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, yeah, I suppose that is a thing to worry about, you know?
Yeah.
So that's it, you know? I mean, there are, I don't like to, you know, it's 2020. I know there's no such thing as gender norms anymore, but women and men are different, believe it or not.
They are. Even if you say about the gender norm, it's still going to be a different, right? If you're going to think along the gender that you're transferring to, or whatever you want to say. So your mind is going to be in that area, you know. And when I can't understand, if a man comes to me with a man's problem, I'm not going to be able to understand. Or sometimes also going to somebody to the opposite sex, when it comes to stuff like that, it turns into not being that. Motives sometimes get crossed, intentions get blurred, and things get totally misconstrued. And so it's just better for the women to stick with the women and the men to stick with the men.
At least stick with somebody that there's no sexual crap between, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. John Beckwith has a question here. Tell us how you deal with balancing your online recovery work, your own program, and your personal life.
I do it one day at a time.
Yeah, how do you do that balancing, juggling act?
It's a one day at a time. Like, I literally sometimes, you know, I work a 9-to-5 job, and then during season, I'm working sometimes 12 to 14 hours a day on top of doing what I do online. So I'm busy. I can find myself being very busy sometimes, but I also have learned when I get that overwhelmed feeling, or I find myself in my own personal life, separate from my recovery, separate from my job, what's going on with Katherine, I know I've learned how to take a step back and just be like, okay, this is what Katherine needs, you know, and I do my prayer, and I, you know, ask for guidance, and I just find a way to just work through it. But I do know how to do that self-care and step back and be like, okay, Katherine needs to work on something for Katherine and not be so involved with everything else. you know.
Yeah, I can imagine that's exactly what John said, a balance. How do you balance it? I can't even imagine trying to balance it all. I mean, well, I can imagine trying to balance it all. I do the same dang thing over here.
Oh, I mean, it's like I said, it's a one day at a time type of thing, and but I have
Sometimes
also
one
learned
minute at a
when
time.
absolutely, and I've also learned when I get that feeling where when Catherine's kind of out of whack, like I said, I just have to go, I have to do that pause thing, and then find out what in that situation I'm getting overwhelmed with is important, and I deal with that at that moment, and then I move on to the next thing. So
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if any other good questions over here. Oh, mindful speaking is a beautiful quality, says Caitlin Tanner. Hey, you know who that is? Know who that is?
that's your girlfriend.
That's my girlfriend.
She's beautiful.
Yes, she is. Gorgeous, gorgeous. She blows my mind when I see her. Like, wow, I light up like a Christmas tree too. It's pretty
And
easy
you
to
just did it right now.
it's
All
pretty
in front
easy
of
to
all
tell
of
I like
us.
her, right?
It just happened.
Amanda Poe, 13th step really happens, even though it is not part of recovery. That is not a step you're supposed to cover. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
the 13th step is not the one of the actual steps, but it does happen, and that's why again the women stick with women, especially when you're early in recovery. You going to a group of newcomers and you guys are all like you're a newcomer woman and it's a group of newcomer men. Well, guess what's going to happen? There's not going
Yep.
to be a lot of recovery going on right there. You guys
Yeah.
are all still in the same, and so you find women. I gravitated to the women that had a little bit of had some clean time, and then I finally was able to branch out and get my core network group, and they've been my core group of women this whole time. So
yeah, I remember times that I tried to get clean and failed, trying to lean on other people who were also in early recovery. Like I'd have a friend who's like, "Oh my God, you're 3 weeks clean. I'm 4 weeks clean. That's so cool." And I'm like, "Sweet, we should work this together. Like, let's do this. We can help each
and then
other."
you know what, and you don't always have great ideas. One of you
No.
get upset, and then it's all about what, or one of you have an exciting news, and it's like, let's do this. So that's why it is important at least to have someone that has a little bit of clean time right next to you or with you to the beginning process, especially.
Oh, definitely. And I'm very, very thankful through my recovery and through my journey as being a motivational speaker that I have surrounded myself with the right people and that I have such amazing people around me, like yourself, amazing, supportive, wonderful people in my life.
You're
That's
so
what we need.
sweet. I'm like,
Oh, I got
I don't
you.
even know what to say. I'm
Just
like,
something
oh,
like
that's so nice.
that's so
Thanks.
nice. That's a nice thing. We're not used to people treating us nice. Don't do that to me, Maddie.
I'm like, I'm so wonderful. Wait, what? That's so nice.
Oh, you are. You do a wonderful job with everything you do, all of your online supporting and everything. You're always sharing my stuff and there, throwing up the likes and loves, and I love that.
Absolutely. And that's what's important, like, is to make sure we know we're loved because we lacked so much of that in our addiction. Love was not something I knew anything about in my disease. I knew I had parents and I knew my parents loved me to the best of their ability of what they understood what love was, and now I have a total understanding of what unconditional love means. And because like I'm gonna love you no matter what, no matter what. I'm going to accept you and I'm going to be there for you. I might have to, if you've done something wrong to me, I might have to distance myself, but I'm not going to be the one that's out there. Just, did you hear what Betty Joe Blow said about whatever, this and that, like, I'll just distance myself, but I'm still, if you need me, my phone, it goes both, I'm not going to turn you away. It doesn't matter. Never. I have people that have hurt me extremely bad and I'm still like, okay,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's we gotta stay open, for all those things. And I've seen a post. I don't remember which of my wonderful friends there shared that yesterday. That post that says, if you think you're humble, wait until God asks you to serve someone who hurt you. Like, wow, yeah, how that one hits in the heart, you know, because I've had times here as, you know, being on the point of change, I've had old people that have ripped me off in the past hit me up, you know, hey man, I'm trying to get clean, you know, got any advice for me? And it's like,
Yeah.
I could tell you to screw off, you know, but that's not me anymore. That's not
That
somebody.
principles before personalities, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna, you know, not help you because of our past. I'm a different person, so I'm gonna let them be different people too, and give them a chance that I wish other people would have given me in the beginning, and things like that, you know.
Right.
Let's see. Seeing if there's any more questions. I don't see any more questions in the comments. Is there anything that you had that you wanted to add to all this, Katherine?
No, I just want to thank everybody, you know, that showed up and came in here and was here to support me. I appreciate it. And, you know, I thank you, Maddie. You know, it's always nice to feel like somebody wants me to be around, you know, but
Definitely, definitely. And thank you for coming on here in short notice, you know, and for you to step up and step up to the plate and knock it out of the park like you did. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for being here. All right, my dear, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for joining me tonight. And
thank
I will
you.
probably see you tomorrow morning in my live feed, huh?
Well, it depends. I'm at work. If I catch my break at the right time, I'll be able to jump in there. But,
Oh, okay.
you
All
know,
right.
I'll do
Well,
my best.
I'll see your name in the comments, I'm sure.
Absolutely at some time.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Maddie. I
Katherine.
appreciate
Have a
it.
good night.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Point of Change meets Katherine Lance. What an amazing guest. What an amazing story. Every addict in recovery has an amazing story of overcoming adversity, overcoming trials and tribulations and troubles on levels that some humans can't even imagine. So it is awesome for me to have this opportunity to be clean, to be sober, to be here on The Point of Change, to be a motivational speaker, to have the friends that I have in my life, to have the people that will come on here and share these amazing friggin' stories with us. Wow, that was awesome. Thank you, Katherine Lance, for coming on here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all for being here and throwing up the likes and the loves. Give me another round of likes and loves coming up. Throw them hearts up for a little while as I close this out. Thank you guys for being here tonight, and I really hope you guys will join me next Sunday at 9 p.m. Central when I have Ryan Hampton from the Voices Project here. Ryan is an awesome guy. I met him when I spoke at the state capitol at the Rally for Recovery last year. He was an amazing guy, has an awesome story of addiction and recovery and amazing things he does for the recovery world these days. So join me here next week at Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, come on back in the mornings, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every morning right here on The Point of Change. I am live. Check out my written post, check out my YouTube channel, do all the things. Like this video, share this video, like my page, all of those little YouTuber, Facebook video guy things that I'm supposed to say. I love you guys so much, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay clean.